Hi, this is Chris West from Pace West Physical Therapy. Today I wanted to talk to you about traction devices for your shoes while we hike in the Front Range and Boulder area. Usually we just need traction for safety. Most of these trails are packed down and we don't need snowshoes. And I'll go over several types, including ways that you can stud your own shoes at home. Hi, and welcome to my garage. It's a little cold out here, so I've got some layers on. Before we get into showing you how to stud your own shoes, I wanted to review and go over some of the commercially made traction devices that are already out there. This is not an exhaustive list. This is what I have at the house and things that my family uses currently when we're out hiking, either on the sidewalks when it's really icy out, on the packed trails, or on the more technical trails here around Boulder. To begin with, we got these commercially made micro spikes. Now this is one of the more aggressive ones that's out there, very popular in Boulder right now. This is what I was using today to get on the flat irons up between the first and second flat iron after the ice storms. It was quite icy in spots. You can see that these are almost like crampons underneath there with chains. They can go onto any shoe or boot. You just need to get them sized appropriately. This next one I've used for a number of years. I will use it on my larger boots. These are machine screws that are placed into a platform that can just be placed on your shoe or boot and strapped on. They work quite well. They tend to create a more even platform, so where this might be a little tilty, you can see that the platform underneath is narrower than the shoe. This is a more even platform for people with maybe weak ankles. This is also made by a company named Stabilizer. You can see it's more sort of these small spikes with rubber studs used for mixed stuff. They tend to go on quite easily, usually a less technical device, but can work quite well for just a walk in the neighborhood on icy or unsure footing. And for your runners out there, they do make lighter versions of this. This is a running style, goes on the shoe, very light, but you'll see that it has less traction lugs on it and probably more for a little bit more firm grip. Now, if you want to stud your own shoes, which is what I'm going to show you how to do today, it's very easy to do. You can see that here's a kind of a technical running shoe. We've placed a number of lugs in the bottom of this shoe. This is just a second pair of shoes that we've used. It works quite well for non-technical terrain and more technical terrain. The nice thing about it is it's got a nice even profile, so whenever you're walking on rocks and things like that, it tends not to rock around a lot. It can be a little bit more slippery on really dry stuff, but it holds quite well on the rocks, on wet stumps and roots. It really bites well into ice and snow. You can't be cavalier with it, but it's what many of the runners around here have resorted to over the years. This is a Hoka, so it's a little bit thicker. You'll notice that the lug placements can be placed under the ball of the foot, and typically they're more around the outside edge of the foot, and that's to allow for more edge control. When you place the lugs under the ball of the foot in a thinner shoe like this, you have to run the risk of having them come through the ball and kind of you can feel them under your foot. What we'll be needing today is either a drill or a hand screwdriver, a small 1/4-inch bit for a hex head, and then these screws. Now these screws I get at McGuckins. If you go to the bolt aisle at McGuckins and just ask for shoe studs, you'll receive a number 8 size 3/8 machine screw or tapping screw. They're about 7 cents a piece, or you can buy them I think $5 for 100. I usually get them by the box because you will lose a few teeth along the way. We just place these screws into the tapping bit and we just screw them straight into the bottom of the shoe. Now the head that I'm going to be using is a hexagonal size head. You can see that it's a 1/4 inch. It's made to fit this number 8 3/8 inch bit. It can be placed into a drill bit. You can also, if you don't have that, place it just into a hand drill and just screw them in by hand. It's not very difficult. And it's as easy as that. Now, some videos out there will show that they pre-drill the holes. And I found that to be less desirable, primarily because I find that I get better bite with the screw. You just want to make sure you don't overturn them into the rubber and then strip the rubber in the shoe. You could also then easily take these screws out, and it really doesn't do any damage to the sole that I've found. As far as wear, I tend to use like an older pair of shoes because I tend to get them wet a lot. You can see the patterns, I typically keep them on the higher lugs so that it's the first thing to touch. On this particular shoe, because it's a little bit thinner, I did not place any into the ball of the foot. I usually will place one at the tip of the heel, maybe two. You can also put on either side for heel strikes if you're doing more downhill walking, say on a driveway or something. And I like to put them off the tip for my push off so I don't get that slip. But this is how you do it. So if you have concerns about getting out on icy walks, if you need to do your rehab or get out and want to get out walking and exercising but do it more safely, please consider this. It's an easy, inexpensive way of staying safe on these icy trails during the wintertime. So please get out there, and if you do need any more information about this, contact me at Pace West Physical Therapy.